What is being called the mask affair surfaced at the end of February, when police searched the offices of Georg Nüßlein, a member of parliament and prominent figure in the conservative CSU party. Nüßlein is being probed for bribery. He is thought to have accepted over 600,000 euros by a mask producer to lobby for its product. But the affair doesn't stop here. Nikolas Löbel, a lawmaker with Chancellor Angela Merkel's CDU party, admitted his company received 250,000 euros to act as a mediator for mask purchases. Prosecutors are now carrying out an initial review of his case. Both Nüßlein and Löbel have announced their departure from the conservative bloc's parliamentary group. But while Löbel resigned from parliament effective immediately, Nüßlein plans to keep his seat. For the opposition FDP party, this is not enough. Further scrutiny is needed. Clarity must be provided to the public. Millions of people fear for their existence and have seen their freedom restricted. And the impression can't be that the few who want to do business from Parliament using its letterhead are exploiting this crisis for their own benefit. The sister parties, CDU and CSU, say they want to conduct a comprehensive investigation into such practices and introduce a code of conduct that would prevent them. We need to go a whole step further and make it clear that what is legally possible is not necessarily acceptable for us. We need a code of conduct that clearly states that it's not possible or acceptable under any circumstances to benefit financially from the already active role as a member of parliament. The scandal risks battering Merkel's CDU party ahead of two important regional elections taking place on Sunday in the states of Baden-Württemberg and Rhineland-Palatinate. Recent polls have shown a dip in the party's numbers. Not good news for the CDU, just 6 months before the country's parliamentary elections.
Yeah, for more now, let's pull in our political correspondent, Simon Young. Good evening to you, Simon. Yeah, this looks really bad. I mean, how damaging are these corruption claims for Germany's conservative parties?
Very bad. I think, Brent, members of Parliament potentially profiting financially from the corona crisis. That's a very bad look. And there are warnings that it could throw a negative light on all politicians, but it does seem to be a particular problem of the Conservative parties. Clearly, it could impact their electoral standing in this big election year. There's federal elections in September, but there's a couple of regional elections coming up this weekend, so we may see something there, especially in Baden-Württemberg, where the CDU is in coalition with the Greens, and they may be worried about losing support in that context. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the weekend. But going forward, I think Angela Merkel's party does need to show that it's learning the lessons from this scandal, that it's going to introduce tougher rules, a code of conduct, and improve its behaviour, because this is about trust. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people would agree no one should be earning hundreds of thousands of euros brokering deals for face masks. So the political parties, what are they doing to combat this kind of corruption? Well, I think there's a growing realisation that Germany does seem to have a problem in the area of political corruption. Just a couple of years ago, the Council of Europe, for instance, produced a report. They said the Bundestag needs to do more, needs to introduce a register of interests and links between politicians and businesses, and that they were taking too long about doing that. Particularly, it's the CDU and CSU who've been unenthusiastic. They make the point that politicians ought to be free in their choice of contacts. But I think in the wake of this scandal, we are seeing a change of mood, and many Conservative politicians signalling that they would be interested in particularly a register of lobby interests in Parliament. It's under pressure, particularly from opposition parties, also from the European Commission, incidentally, saying, it's time to have more transparency and more of a legal basis for the transparency of politicians, because it's so important for democracy. DW political correspondent Simon Young with the latest tonight here in Berlin. Simon, thank you.